When solving an equation, our goal is to find the value of the variable that makes the equation true. So we've worked on two-step equations where you're asked to solve for x. Here's a two-step equation. And we need to manipulate the equation to get x by itself, right? So here you can see that they're subtracting 7 from each side. 7 is the constant. This would be our first step. Then they divide both sides by 3. 3 is the coefficient, and that's our second step. So in this case, we get x equals 2. We call this a two-step equation because it takes 2 steps to solve. The first step was to subtract 7, right? And the second step was to divide both sides by 3. All right. You can check any solution. This is true if you're doing an assignment and before you check it on Khan if you don't want to get wrong, right? We had x equals 2, so we can check the solution by plugging 2 back into the original equation. So they plugged 2 in for x. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 7 is 13. So it works. All right, we've also had equations with variables on both sides, right? They do here in this example, it's exactly what I said in the video and in class, right? We need to manipulate the equation to get a by itself. And the first step is to get the variable onto one side. So we had a 14a on one side and a 9a on the other. So I'm subtracting the 9a from both sides. So I no longer have the variable on the right side, right? 14a minus the 9a gives me a 5a here. From here, it's like a two-step equation. We're going to subtract the constant, and we're going to divide by the coefficient, right? So here we get the answer is -2. And again, you can check your work by plugging in that value for the variable here. And we see that we get the same number on each side. All right, multi-step equations. Sometimes you need to do a distributive property, right? So here we have a very long equation, right? If I have an equation like this, I like to simplify it. So we're going to distribute the 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 also gets distributed to this 1 here. 1 times 7 is 7. We're going to combine like terms, the -7 and the -11, right? And here we see we have the variable on both sides, so we're going to get the variable to one side, just like we did before. So we're going to subtract the 6e, right? So we no longer have the variable on the right side, and 14e minus the 6e is 8e. Then it's like a two-step equation. We're going to add the constant this time because addition is the opposite of subtraction, and divide by that coefficient. E equals 3, and you could check your answer by plugging that in, and you see you get the same thing on both sides. All right. So you guys have recently some exercises have been equations with variables on both sides and equations with parentheses. You should have done both of these. Both of these should be completed before doing today's Khan assignment. Thanks for watching.